Gosh.
I know. All right, and we're live. Thank you guys for joining us today. Just a reminder, if you have any questions, leave them in the chat. I always like to say that right first and foremost. Leave them in the chat. We'll talk about it. We like to have people just, even if it's not even a question, just leave a comment or something. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Joshua Paul, Marketing Director of SampleServe. And today I have with us, as usual, I got Russell Schindler, CEO of SampleServe, and Paul Goodrow of Inoran Partners. How you doing, guys?
Doing pretty well.
Doing pretty well?
Doing well.
All right, good.
Yeah.
Paul, tell us about what we do here on these Wednesdays.
Sure. Thanks, Josh. Well, thank you for attending, all you out there in Ethernet space. We appreciate it. We're really here just to help as we can and really help you become more effective with our tools specifically, but also to help you become more effective in your companies as you deploy other digital technologies. But specifically, SampleServe has a digital solution that if you're using it, I hope you think it's great. And if you're not using it, I hope you will soon. It's really about tips and tricks. And Joshua, myself, and Russell get together every week and we ask ourselves, what can we share with our users? And so our agendas are dynamic. If you'd like something addressed, please let us know, and we'll craft the webinar specifically for you. So we're here to help.
Thanks, Paul.
Yep.
So today is all about data management, the options of SampleServe with our ability to transfer data, hold data, and create new data. So, Paul, in your line of experience, what do you hold dearly about the aspects of data management in the environmental services industry?
Yeah. Well, I remember when I was a young hydrogeologist, I started my career at the Minnesota Pollution Control Agency as a hydro. And one of the assignments was to develop a agency-wide database. And I was just a young upstart. And, you know, what I fell into was that, and the team fell into, is that you're trying to satisfy everybody in creating a database that's all encompassing. And it captures and reports and retrieves and sorts and everything that you need for all your data. And the truth of it is, you know, it's very hard to do that. And once you do that, it gets very cumbersome, especially with the older technology, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so what I see in environmental consulting firms right now is that you have pretty much two classes. One is, are those companies that have an enterprise level system, and the leader in that market is Equus. It's a good system, but it's cumbersome. It takes a long-term time to learn, and it's expensive. So if you don't have that, what do you have? Well, you have homemade stuff, or you have Excel spreadsheets. And neither of those they might be fit for purpose, but they're not very powerful. And you get into a situation where you could use more data management, database services. And so, you know, what we're going to talk about today, I think, is SampleServe offers you kind of an intermediate platform. All the data that you collect in the field or you retrieve from the laboratory can be stored on our cloud, and it can be your functioning database. You can put data into it. You can take data out of it. You can even make reports and graphs and charts out of it. So if nothing else, if you don't use SampleServe for anything else, you can use it as a database. And it's far superior to a spreadsheet and maybe superior to some of the systems that are in place today. So I've seen a long path of creating databases. I think today there are a couple big enterprise systems that you could use, but it doesn't fit most of the consulting engineering firms out there. And so I think SampleServe offers you an option for creating your database. That's my thought on it.
That's your take?
That's my take.
What I've seen, and I think it's probably the way most companies do it, not the bigger ones that already got an enterprise level system, but I think most companies just use the simple folder format, right? Where they create a project folder and then they have subfolders for different categories of work. But some people, you know, you kind of have to train people to follow that format for storing files. And so some people just put files on their desktop. And so historically when I worked at other places, you would go to try and find information, and you would find, files and spreadsheets and stuff for projects that actually belong to a different project, right? I mean, they would just somehow store it in the wrong folder, or they open up one and copy it, and then they save it back to where they opened it at, and they meant to move it to a different folder. And so, that's really what the big problem is. And then all those spreadsheets aren't connected either.
Right.
Some of them are, some of them aren't. But that's really kind of, I think, what most, at least mid-size and smaller firms, are still doing to this day in terms of their data management.
Yeah. Big
Another
problem.
thing, Russell, I wonder how many firms have cloud-based storage.
Yeah.
I would assume a majority of the consultant engineers do now, but like you said, if you have a file system on your laptop, it doesn't do anybody else any good.
Right.
Right. No, nobody can access it.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about SampleServe is anybody can access that is involved as a user into the storage that we have on the platform. Now, I just want to go over just a brief example of how you would get data into SampleServe. We make it nice and easy. We have a nice little data importer system here. Now, I want to show you real quick the file that I'm going to import. It's just kind of a generic lab spreadsheet that hopefully your lab is supplying. I know some labs just supply PDFs and stuff, which is kind of Stone Age. But let's say your lab, supplies you with a electronic data deliverable that looks somewhat like this, and you want to get this into SampleServe. Say you just started a new project, and you have historical lab data from before. So this is what the file will look like when you have it open. Now we're in SampleServe here. I'm going to go in the lab or the data tab here under lab data, hit data importer. I'm going to drag and drop that same file here. And the first thing you want to do is you just want to connect the column with all your headers in there. Now, if I don't connect the right column and I hit continue, everything is going to be unmatched. So let's go back and let's select the right column here. So this one has the headers for all my rows here.
Yeah. The header for your columns.
For my column. I always mix up rows and columns, Russell.
Yeah.
So here it's already it's smart enough to match the rows or the column headers, and it's going to know where everything belongs. And I'm just going to hit finish here. Are you ready? Submit? Yes. And it'll tell you if there's errors in there, and you can fix those. And then what's going to happen is it's going to show up here. I can click this and I can re-download my data. So this data is always in here. And now if I go over to site info and I have soil and groundwater on this project, all these sample locations have been uploaded automatically. So I can go into groundwater, click my wells, click on one of these sample locations, and the information's uploaded automatically here. I got GPS already in there. And now I can go into events and I can schedule an event. Let's name it test. Let's grab a date. Let's say tomorrow. I can create. Now it's going to have all my wells here automatically. I can grab my tests from my connected lab that I have. And also because I have the GPS in there already, I can go back into site info and I can create a site map from the GPS locations that are in there. So I just click use use the coordinates from the GPS.
Yeah.
I'm going to create site map. And then it should load up a site map for me. Oh, I accidentally clicked off. Test map. And I can click create site map. I think my browser's not loading on me for right now. And then another thing I want to show you is that you can also create groundwater contours and stuff like that if you have, any kind of field data that you also uploaded. Well, let me go back to PowerPoint here.
So I guess, my comment on that, Josh, is that one, it works very quickly, right?
Oh, it's really easy to get your data in there because what we noticed is that before there was a time when we didn't have the automatic data importer, you would have to grab our sample CSV and then match all the data columns and everything in there. And that was cumbersome because everybody's stuff is different. What we implemented is a software that automatically recognizes most CSV files that are out there, and it automatically connects all the data and gives you pretty much the same format for every type of lab data that you're going to run into.
Right. The other thing is it's already one step behind a database, because a database really stores data, but you've also populated other parts of your system. You've populated your scheduling tool, you've populated your mapping function, you've populated your chemistry and your analytical. And so in one move, loading a file, you've created the data and you've populated other functions of the system. So
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's a big time saver. Big time
Yeah.
saver.
Yeah, well, I like the way you put it, because it's not just holding your data in clean format. It's giving you all the benefits of the same place. You can now schedule events. You can create reports. You can connect all the stakeholders, connect to your lab. And so it's more than just holding your data. It's more than just a database. It's a tool for pretty much every case that you would run into when planning, sampling, and reporting.
And the most important part that hasn't been mentioned yet is that it's actually all free. Everything that you've talked about just now is actually free, not just a trial, but free forever. So,
right. Yeah.
So that's really another part. It's not, I think, as far as I know, we're the only company out there that's going to let you store all your environmental data for no cost. So
for no cost, right? Yeah, and that's I mean, I always forget to mention that it's probably the biggest point of our whole app.
Right.
Russell, is it's free to use, unless you signed up for the reporting options, which you're still saving a lot of money just in. And
you only charge if you want to create all the graphics that would go on a report. That's it.
Right.
It's the time to charge it.
Right. Now you can also export the data that you put in as well, including all the analytical results that you've uploaded from your lab data, all the field data as well. So we make it nice and easy that you can just go in at any time. If you, let's say you want to push something to, like an Equus database, or if you want to, maybe if you're moving your mainframe data to another place, you can always grab everything that we have in here nice and easy by, just going into the reports functionality here, go to data export. This is a very small project here. So I'm going to hit I'm going to click all my wells here that are in this project. I'm just going to hit data export. Now it pops up here. And this is going to have pretty much everything that is involved with this project here. Now, this is a very small project. Usually it's going to be a bigger file because it's going to have a lot more information in here.
You would have every piece of data for every well that you selected, including things like, depth of water, your weather information that you may have entered on that day, every form that you have filled out and created, every piece of data that was ever entered for that location would be downloaded into a CSV file. So.
And Russell, explain companies that partner with us, like Antia. They also work with other enterprise data places like Equus and stuff. So how are they managing their data?
So some of their clients that they work with actually require that they export data into Equus because the field data, the lab is already doing that because, like I said, the client requires it. So they're able to just very easily export data into a format that can be imported very easily into Equus. So we designed this system because we know there's some clients out there that aren't going to be using our reporting function, but they're using another one and they want that data. Diver would be another one.
Mm-hmm.
So those are the, probably two higher level, highly capable reporting tools out there that are great for the, really large projects with lots of really, infinite detail or data. And so we created this export function, and it can work into all kinds of different platforms where you zip up the file, and it's an automated process. So we'll go through and, every day at, 2 a.m. we'll export data that was collected on these projects that were identified. And then you can do it manually as well, right? So, you just did a sampling event yesterday and you want to export the data today, you can do it that way as well.
Yeah. So the process goes, they plan their sampling events in SampleServe. They connect their field techs. They have their labs connected. Then they go out in the field. They use the SampleServe field app to collect all their data. And then they send it off to the lab, digital chain of custody, everything. And then the lab pushes it back in to the SampleServe platform. And then every night at like 2 a.m., that data also gets pushed to their enterprise data management system. So if they want to, they can go in here, they can create a contour map, real simple, takes them 2 minutes. And then if they really want to get into the real nitty gritty stuff, they can go into another enterprise system and have like a GIS guy work on it or something, or AutoCAD work on it.
And if somebody's got a system out there that we're not yet working with, we're very good at moving data and reformatting it so that it can be used in any type of platform out there. So, we're not stuck on one different way. We can do all kinds of different platforms. You see some examples right there.
So the other thing is all that data that we've just talked about has been digitally created if you use the field app.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so no one's touched data. No one's physically entered any data into any database or spreadsheet. It's resident in the field app that comes in with the field data or from the laboratory with a drop file from the lab. So, this provides a no-touch data management system. Paperless, no touch.
Well, and the more people that have to enter and then re-enter data, the more opportunity there is for human error, and unfortunately it happens. So
yeah. If you're re-entering data from a paper form onto a spreadsheet, that's going to be a problem. And if you're changing spreadsheet data to another spreadsheet, that's going to be it's going to have inherent problems in there eventually. You're going to run into some typos and some problems eventually. But if you're just doing data transfers, the computer's doing it, there's going to be no errors.
Okay, Josh, let's keep going.
All right.
We're bogging down a little bit.
Well, I told you it's going to be nice and sweet today. We did start a new SampleServe digital partnership program. So what we're looking for partners who are looking to be champions of the environmental industry through digital methods. And SampleServe wants to be the hub of the digital world in environmental services. And we already have some great partnerships going on. We have Antia Group is winning lots of work with us. They're a great company. We're doing a giant program down in Texas for drinking water with them. Eurofins, we've signed up with them to advance their digital field data collection. And in situ, we're going to start collaborating on connecting their meters to our system, as well as implementing supply and rental equipment through our project planning mechanism. Anything else to add on that, Paul?
Well, so I just recently got a survey of engineering consulting firms from a company called Deltek. You may be using it. It's an accounting software project management system that's popular in the industry. But, they surveyed environmental consulting engineering firms, and the conclusion on one of their points was that the maturity of the digital solutions in environmental consulting is very low. Only about 30% of the companies would say they've made significant progress in bringing digital solutions into their service offering. 70% have not. And so, we think about these tools as kind of easy, simple, and they are, but the integration of these tools into consultant engineers or the industry is still very low. So, we want to be a pioneer with you as a partner to develop that in your companies and offer you a competitive advantage. So there's a lot of runway out there still left for people to get digital solutions that serve them and help their clients.
Mm-hmm. And the first ones that do are going to be, head and shoulders above the competition, especially when, when it gets to 80 to 90% of the industry is now using digital tools. That last 10% is really going to have a hard time keeping up with everybody.
Yep.
So we talk about Sample ENV and Sample Log. Sample ENVs are environmental platform. Sample Log goes with that. It's for the laboratory. We talk about that most Wednesdays. we're going to start talking about sample H2O for drinking water, municipality laboratories. And I think we're going to do that next week. Russell, what do you think?
I think so too.
All right. And Sample SWR is also another platform that we have for sampling Z's and wastewater as well. And we'll cover that probably the week after. So stay tuned if anybody's interested in municipality or facilities or any kind of like COVID monitoring programs like that, we'll be covering that. So I think we're going to call it there. Thank you guys. Got anything to add, Paul, Russell?
I'm good.
Your dog,
right.
Your dog liked it, and that's good, Josh.
I think the mailman probably showed up.
All right.
All right. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next week.